Hello there, Dan the Weatherman here. Hey, welcome to my weather show. We take a look at things for the coming week across New Zealand. The weather's playing a bit of a funny game. We've got lots of warm air, lots of humid air, but there's a lot of stuff that's just stuck. Very, very active weather across the equatorial regions to our north. Australia looking fine. A few lumps of cloud. The Tasman Sea has been open for business, really generating some moisture. And that has, of course, been the big story. Significant rain to the west coast of the South Island. Looking at the close-in satellite, you can see lots of strips of cloud. This is the current trough moving through. The black lines show the upper streamlines in the mid-level of the atmosphere. That's an upper trough. That's a big ridge that's slowing all this down. See how it's kind of stuck? It goes that way, that way. So these weather systems are having trouble moving through. There's a big upper ridge, a big blob of warm air sitting to the north. And the tropics, see some of those red blobs there starting to come to life. It's about the time we start seeing maybe for the first tropical cyclone of the season. Could do so this week as well. Closing in on a couple of these lumps here. That's the first one there. This whole thing will slide through. Active weather on that feature there to track its way through. But I mentioned the tropics. This is a different map. This is the lower level streamlines across the North Tasman Sea. So easterlies you typically see across much of the tropics up towards New Caledonia, towards Papua New Guinea. Winds going that way, winds coming there. So this zone here is often where we see the first cyclones of the cyclone season near the Solomon Islands. And that could be a formation region this week. Good winds coming together. So if winds come together, the cloud has to go somewhere. So boom, it goes up. The other thing you need is a good place for the cloud once it's going up to exhaust or outflow. So looking at the same region, you've got the subtropical jet stream here, but that can take that lump of cloud, push it away. So warm seas, good low level and some good upper levels could be potential for something later in the week. I'll show you in a second. I've mentioned the warm air. This is the warmth, the orange. These are our upper troughs we just saw. That's important there. That's been the same old blob that's been sitting north and east of the country, slowing the weather systems down. So much so that even the computer models that look at these things don't realize it's that big, it's that warm. So if your app maybe at home says, oh, it's going to rain on Thursday, and it doesn't, it's because it's slowing all the weather systems down and sitting in place. And it will continue to have a bit of an effect on our weather over the course of this summer. That's a coloured map, isn't it? Blue is energy, red is not so much. There's quiet, chilled out. That's the upper trough. I'm going to run this through and watch what happens. When you get a big like that, that's energy. So that's the storm system across the South Island moving through on Monday. Another little piece there. As it goes like that, red is quiet. That means the weather chills out. And notice that sits there. That's the next storm system coming in for the end of the week. Could be significant. And I've mentioned further north into the tropics, could be something forming there. But that's how we end. So the week goes with some wet weather clearing away, and in between quieter middle part of the week, and then wetter for the end. The big high that's been sitting there has been feeding in that northeast flow. There's the first frontal boundary there. That's the one that was piling all the wet weather across the west coast. And you can see still sitting there. Why isn't it moving? Because of the warm blob, the blocking high. But watch what happens as we run through the course of the week. We take that thing through. It can't push through, so the energy pushes it through. See how it lingers across the southwest of the North Island through Monday, Tuesday. Energy goes away and then it fades Wednesday. So there's a few odd showers, converging winds Wednesday, Thursday. Then we develop the next low. To the west, warm, juicy seas. Boom, that comes to life. And look at this guy. Could be the first tropical cyclone of the season for our southwest Pacific. Very early days. Where it'll track, I'd be keeping an eye on perhaps the Solomons, Vanuatu, tracking southeast. Will it affect us? It needs a steering path. At the moment, it will probably go like that, but days away. But at least it's showing that we are getting to that point, that time of the year where they could develop. So Monday. That's our frontal boundary there. So that sits and gives spells of rain on really from southwestern parts of the North Island all the way to perhaps the upper South Island. Cooler behind that, could even see some little bit of a winteriness on some of the hills to the far south. Squeeze between the highs, and you think that front will move through. No, look at it. It dies because it can't push through. So that's how it looks. Tuesday, wet from Taranaki towards Wellington. Far south you find you're dry, grey, drizzly again to perhaps places like Christchurch. Still in the warm, humid stuff. Odd shower for Auckland Wednesday. See, it's not moving. The blob of warm air. So fronts can't push through. They have to go that way and they fade. Look at that thing starting to gather across western parts of the Tasman Sea for Thursday. Thursday for a lot of us isn't a bad day. South Island, you've got a weak area of high pressure, few afternoon showers, central parts of the North Island and elsewhere. They're starting to get into that warm, humid feel again. By Friday, it isn't too bad. A few showers into the mix as well. South Island is okay, a few interior showers, cooler southwest flow. Temperature-wise for the week, pretty similar. Some places seeing teens, elsewhere further north in the humid stuff, you're probably looking at some middle 20s. We'll keep an eye on this thing later in the week. That will start to work in, could maybe make a spoiler for perhaps next weekend with another surge of some wet weather. And again, it could hit the west coast of the South Island. That will slide through. When you look at the rainfall for the week, look at that. With the front sitting there across Taranaki towards the lower North Island, 50 to 100 millimetres of rain or more, just because it sits there. That's your subtropical ridge, dry, meaning stuff doesn't push through. All the weather systems go that way. West coast is slightly wetter, of course, a little bit drier after the early part of the week, and then that could be the tropical troublemaker, that moisture there forming, and we see how we go. But very active weather. Once again, try and stay cool this week as well with some pretty mild weather in many places. That's the weather for now.